This is gonna be a little bit of a spin on a typical exercise, the knees over toes lunge. We're gonna add a little bit of a different intention or focus on it to get more out of it. So you can do this body weight and eventually progress with adding weights, but for now I'm gonna show you body weight so that you can learn the movement first. So we're going to find something to elevate the front leg on, a yoga block, something like a foam wedge. We're just gonna use something like 3 or 4 inches off the ground. Then from there, we're gonna get into a nice split stance position. We don't wanna be walking a tight rope. Make sure you are a little bit wider in your base of support so you're not falling over. Then we want to start with a position of our pelvis and rib cage stacked. So you should already feel just a slight stretch on that back leg. Now, as we go down into the movement, instead of letting gravity pull us down, we're going to actively pull ourselves into a nice deep hip flexor stretch on this straight leg. So the goal is going to be keeping the knee straight, keeping things tucked, and actively pulling ourselves down. We're going to think about pulling ourselves down 2 ways. One, I want you to think about the muscles that do this movement, lifting your foot up towards your shin, but your foot is glued to the ground, so now when you use those muscles, they're going to pull your shin over your toes. So you should feel this stuff pulling you forward. The second thing I want you to think about as we're staying tucked is driving the back leg behind you, like you're trying to push earth behind you. That is how we're actively gonna use that glute to kind of open this up. So we're gonna go down over 3 to 5 seconds together. We're gonna find that tucked position, pull that knee forward, push the earth behind you, over 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, on the way back up, you're going to think about pulling earth towards you and driving your leg down into the foam wedges that you're using. So on the way back up, we are thinking about pushing from here and pulling from here, using those hip flexors to pull us back up. This is going to make it completely way more exhausting than a typical knees over toes lunge, but you're gonna get more out of it. One more time, start with our belt buckle towards the front leg a little bit. Knee is locked, belt buckle's also tucked slightly. Pull yourself forward, push the earth behind you, stay long with that knee, pause, drag earth forward, push your leg into the knee, and come back up to the start position. You should feel a nice deep stretch at the very end range of motion, and then you should feel those really working hard to get you back up to the start. Do that for the prescribed amount of reps. You can add weights to progress, but you might just be able to progress by your depth. Obviously, what your goal is going to dictate on how you're progressing, but as you do this on a consistent basis, you should see that it gets easier, you get a little bit stronger, you can get a little bit more depth, or you can just add weights and that's how you know you're progressing.